Hey crafty friends, this is Chelsea. Do you guys ever have a ton of photos that you want to use on a layout? I find things like Halloween and Christmas, I always have so many pictures that I want to use, so I'm going to share some strategies and a really good layout design with you in this video where you can fit 11 photos plus. You could probably fit more than 11, but I'm going to use 11 today. I'm going to use this beautiful I Want Candy collection from Close to My Heart, and let's get started. I've set out my two Versamats so that I can kind of keep everything lined up. And then I'm going to start on white cardstock because there's going to be quite a bit of color in this layout, and I think white is a really good base so that it doesn't become too overwhelming. Now for my design for this page, I'm using this one as inspiration. This is one half of a 2-page layout that I created as a sketch challenge for the Creative Design Team membership. Every month in there we do, along with weekly classes and weekly tips, we also do a monthly challenge. And it's been different things, and I really like doing sketch challenges, helps everyone use their stash. But the thing I liked about this when I designed it was how many photos I could fit. And I thought, what if I take the same sort of idea and just flip it and do 2 pages out of it, because then I could maybe do a lot of my Halloween photos. So that's where the inspiration came from. Now I really wanted to use this beautiful stripe paper. I was kind of on the fence between this side with the like candy dots, these are like little candy dots, or the striped side. I'm sorry you guys if you can hear that. That is my wiener dog Frankie. He has a case of the zoomies right now, so he's just ripping around here. Usually gets those at least once a day. So I really wanted to use this pattern paper. So this is cut at 5 by 12. I could cut off the ends because I'm going to use that idea of having the paper on the edge like the layout I showed you. I'm going to simplify kind of what's going on here. That one had 3 strips. I'm just going to do a strip of this glitter paper. Now you got to see this glitter paper. Hopefully you can see there. It is so pretty. It's pink, but has like kind of greenish, pinkish sparkles in it as well. It's really pretty. And that only comes in the cardstock pack for the I Want Candy collection. And I'm just going to kind of end cap my layout with this. Now I'm pretty sure that's what I want to do. So I think I'm going to go ahead, before I move on to bringing in photos, I'm going to go ahead and put this down because I'm pretty sure I'm not going to change my mind about that. Just going to speed up through this part where I'm sticking everything down. Don't want to make you watch that in real time. If you are curious about the Creative Design Team membership, we are currently open for registration until November 20th. We only open a couple times a year, and it's a great opportunity to join and check it out. We have weekly classes, tips, and our monthly challenge. There's a ton of inspiration in that group. Okay, I got all those stuck down, so now I'm going to take my 11 photos here and start placing them down where I want them. I have a couple of 3x3s, a lot of 3x4s, portrait, and then a handful of landscape. I typically take a lot of my photos in the portrait orientation, so I usually have a lot of those to work with. Now in my inspiration page, I did have my photos kind of overlapping this end piece, so I'm going to try that and see how I like it. Now I could fit even more photos on here if I wanted to use flip flaps, which are plastic flaps that stick to the outside of your page protector and give you like an interactive element, and you can put more photos, more journaling. But I think I might be able to I think I'm gonna have enough. At Halloween, I like doing kind of just like a photo shoot day with my daughter in her costume. We've done it a few times now. Well, a few. She's 3, so we've done it 3 times now. And I love having those like really fun pictures, and then I have mixed in pictures from actual trick-or-treating. I did matte these in white. I was thinking about matting them in sapphire. That's what this dark blue color is, or black or gray. I was thinking about like different colors, and nothing was really clicking for me that I liked it. I tried the sapphire and it was just too dark. Especially where it overlapped this piece, it was just too dark. but I'm thinking I might want to just very lightly ink the edges just to add some definition. But this is the general idea of what I'm thinking. I want these two to line up and I want these two to line up. So we do have like a grid, and then I will just space this one in between as well as that one. This one is not going to perfectly line up with this. Like there's just, it's just not going to. But I think that's okay. I don't think it's a big deal, because even if I move that over, like there's no, yeah, it's not going to line up. And of course, once we get our embellishments on here, that will make a big difference too. So I can't remember if I told you paper sizes or not. These pieces were 2 by 12, 1/4 by 12 for the glitter paper, and 5 by 12 for these ones. And I could have cut off that little bit of extra that's hiding under there, but it was just faster to stick it down. So I kind of want this to be like a mirror image, but I did add, so this isn't quite a mirror image, but that's because my title is going to go here. And then I'm going to create my visual triangle with embellishments. All right, I just tested out one picture to see if I would like it. I took the Sapphire ink pad and just ran it along the edge of my photo mat. I don't know if you guys can, yeah, you can kind of see it on there. And I think for putting it on top of the white, it will make just a slight difference to kind of pop it and add a little bit of definition. The only thing is I'm gonna have to be careful not to set it down on my paper right away, because that ink will transfer onto my background. So I think what I'm gonna do is just pause the camera for a second, go around and do that to all of my edges, because I don't think you guys wanna watch that process, but then I will let them dry and come back. So I'm just taking my ink pad just vertically. I wanna hit the very edge. You could even do this like with a pen or something if you wanted to use a marker and just hit your edges. I think that would probably work too. But that's all there is to it, just to get the very edge, because if I use a dauber or something, it's gonna come in farther, and I don't think I want that. So I'll go ahead and do that, and then I'll be right back. All right, I've attached my photos, and well, some of my photos. I want to add some clusters to this page, and I'm gonna tuck some things under my photos. So these ones at the bottom, this one and this one are not attached down, but I attached down the other ones. It didn't take too long for that ink to dry, and then I just laid everything out and stuck them down one by one. Usually I find that's the easiest. I don't usually like to take the time to measure and make sure they're exact. I just did like one end, and then kind of evenly spaced the middle one. It doesn't have to be exact. And then I try and make sure that they are about the same height going across from the left page to the right page. And then I went ahead and I die cut this spider web die. Isn't that so cool? This is the Eerie-sistable Stampin' Thin Cuts. So I'm going to use quite a few of these images and the words on my layout, but this is the die. It's just a thin cut, not a stamp. These ones have coordinating thin cuts, so you can cut them out. Such a cute stamp. This collection is retiring the end of October. If there's extra stock of it, I'm sure it will pop back up online, but if you haven't grabbed this yet and you're seeing this in real time, you're gonna wanna grab it right away before it's gone. All right, so I'm just gonna kind of figure out where I want these. I want these to kind of be the bases of my clusters. So I'm just gonna kind of lay it for now, and then we will see if that's where it's gonna stay. Now the other thing I had thought about was maybe doing a little bit of ink blending. So I probably wanna do, thinking purple is kind of what I wanna do, but the purple that's in here is the color Royal, and it is very vibrant. I think some of the Royal that's used in here is like a lighter version of this color. So I'm gonna have to go super light-handed to make sure it doesn't get away from me and get too dark. So let's just give it a try and see how it turns out. I like using ink blending brushes with these inks. The close to my heart inks are dye-based inks, and I just find it works the best to help them get like a really smooth blend. So I want to put it behind the photo first so it will be hidden, and then kind of blend out from there, because I am going for fairly light coverage. I don't want to have like a super bold blend. So let's see. See, that's nice. That adds just like a nice softness to it. I really do enjoy ink blending. I want to bring the color a little bit more, so I'm just gonna knock this off behind where it will be hidden. And then I'm just gonna pull that color out just a little ways more. It almost looks like there's nothing on your brush, but if you keep swirling, you can see that there is ink on there. Okay. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, I'm gonna repeat that up here as well. I think to keep everything cohesive, it'll look best if I do the same ink blending behind all of the spider webs. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. I really love how this page design is coming together and how many photos I'm able to fit on here. It really is enough to document kind of a whole event, and this is actually 2 separate days documented on one page. I think I might reuse this idea for some more Christmas pages or even birthday pages. Now, I think one of the keys to fitting a lot of photos on is using smaller photos. So I did size my photos down to 3x4 and 3x3. So that's a good way to do it. If you rather have big photos, using flip flaps or even substituting some pattern paper for photos instead, so you just have less pattern and stuff going on and more photos, or you can use something like Pocket Plus inserts which go in between your pages. All right, I am really happy with how that turned out. It's nice and soft. I'm gonna go ahead and stick my little spider webs down. I'm using my Barely Art glue. I love the fine tip on this, and it works great for this kind of detailed stuff. I don't think I'm gonna worry about putting glue on every single little part of it. I'm just gonna go with those long pieces, and I think that'll be more than enough to hold it down. There, that should be good. And then I can actually stick my photos down once I get that on there, because I think that's the only part that I really want to go under my photos. So I can go ahead and attach that. Well, now we got those all attached down. I have a couple of different ideas. I was looking at these different stamp sets. These are the 2 that are with the collection. And this one actually has a really fun little like sparkle pattern. I could stamp some of those coming out of these areas, but I think I want to wait on that and just see if it even needs it, because I have some die cut little pieces and stickers and stuff to go on here. So I might just wait on that first, but I think I do want to stamp the title. Okay, so there's this big 31st on here, and I'm thinking I want my title to be a couple of different elements. I don't have any stamp, like one stamp or one sticker that kind of fits this area perfectly that I want to use. So I'm gonna kind of like piece it together with stamps and with stickers. So I have Lagoon ink here. I love these magnetic ink pads. They just pop apart so easy. I'm just gonna put this off to the side, and I'm gonna grab one of those little foam sheets that come in the stamp set. They come in every stamp set, and they just help you get a better kind of crisper image. I could also flip over my Versamat and use the back side of that, but yeah, I think I'm going to just go with this, so then I don't have to move my whole mat. Now, this is Lagoon. I'm just kind of pouncing back and forth, trying to make sure I get good coverage. This image is distressed. I have a piece of just scrap paper here. I always like to test my stamps. I have learned the hard way once too often. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and stamp this right there. You just gotta commit and go for it. The nice thing is that it is supposed to be distressed, so it doesn't have to be perfect, because it's not going to be. I'm just using my chamois here to clean off my stamp. And now the other parts of this, there's this big booyah from the stamp set, and I thought that was really funny. And then there's a Happy Halloween stamp, but it's stacked. There's this Happy Halloween sticker from the collection, and I thought, that could look really cool if I have Booyah stamped here and then Happy Halloween kind of tucked under there. I think that will work really good. Now the trick is, should I attach my sticker first and use that to help me place? I probably should. Otherwise, I'm not going to end up getting this straight. This is kind of angled, and sometimes I find things like the letters are sort of italicized. They're sort of on an angle. Sometimes I find that really tricky to get straight. So hopefully, I just have some thin foam tape on here. So it should be okay to stamp around. I'm just going to put it right here and get that. Eyeball it straight. And then I'm going to move my foam and just make sure it's really under there. I grabbed the Sundance color, which is one of the colors in this collection. It's kind of like a yellow-orange color. And what I want to do is kind of repeat stamp it without re-inking it. So I'm going to do like first, second, maybe third generation. So it almost looks like it's being yelled, like booyah, and like echoing. There's 1, 2, 3. That's what I'm thinking. I think that'll look great. Okay, let's go for it. All right, we're all linked up. Fingers crossed for me. Ooh. Now without re-inking, we're just gonna re-stamp, move up again and re-stamp. Oh yeah, I love how that turned out. Here, I'll hold it up a little closer for you. Awesome. Okay. Don't you love it when things actually work out? Sometimes I imagine things in my head and then they just don't quite translate to the page. Okay, next I'm going to add a little bit of embellishment to some of my little spider webs here. I had already gone and colored up a lot of these stamped images. Kind of did like a separate coloring session when I first got these stamps. Sometimes I like to do that. I'll just break them out, sit down, color them with the colors of the collection so I knew they would match, but I didn't have any project in mind for them. But they are going to now be my embellishments for this. Little chocolate bar. I colored with tri-blend markers and Copic markers, just depending on what colors I had that matched the collection. And then I used white gel pen to add some highlights. Little ghosty here, gave them little pink cheeks and then little white dots on those cheeks, and then just shaded with some gray at the bottom. And the nice thing is some of my photos have kind of empty areas, so I can kind of overlap. All right, there is a sticker sheet that goes along with this collection, and this collection can be Halloween, but can also just be like candy, sweet, treats, that sort of thing. So you could kind of go either way with it. I am going to use some of these little word strips. I love phrase stickers, word strips. I just always think they're a great companion to some sort of cluster. I'm going to put some of these elements down flat, and then I'm also going to pop some of them up. I'm putting things on a bit of an angle. I don't want to put things straight up and down because I think it'll look strange and it'll look a little bit more whimsical and I think flow a little bit better if it looks like items just kind of like fell there, right? They kind of would all fall at sort of odd angles. Up here at the top, I have some more items to put in there. I'm kind of tucking this little bar underneath the trick-or-treat bag. Those two are just getting stuck down with adhesive. And then this little like Rockets candy, I think in the US you guys call them Smarties. We call them Rockets. And I'm going to put that on with foam tape. I did trim off part of the spider web that was hanging out because it looked sort of weird when it was just kind of like random little pieces sticking out. So I trimmed that off with my scissors. And now I'm just placing the rest of my stamped images. Basically, I didn't want to have to like stamp and color and die cut more images, so I'm working just with what I had. I had colored up one of everything, so I'm just trying to like make it work. I did end up doing a second of the small ghosts because I felt like the big one was too big for the bottom, and my 31st at the top got a little bit too far over from where I wanted it. So I kind of felt like it needed something beside that photo, so I put the larger ghost up there. That little phrase sticker that says "so sweet" and that little ghost are both popped up, and the rest of the items are all in there flat. I also popped up that large ghost that's at the top. And then I thought I needed to add just a little something more to my clusters. These are the puffy stickers that go with the collection, and they feel so cool. They have this like matte, sort of rubbery feeling to them, but they're puffy. And I'm just kind of moving them around my layout, trying to decide what shapes I want to use, if these are going to work. And I decided I really liked the way the stars looked. But there's only one size of star. So usually when I'm doing like clusters of gems or sequins or any of that little extra bits that I put down with a cluster, I usually am using 2 to 3 different sizes. Well, these are all the same size, so it took me a little bit of playing around to figure out how I wanted them. I went ahead and drew some pencil lines and then wrote my journaling. Honestly, I had a lot more I could say about this. I had like several stories. So I have a couple options. I could like make a tag and like put it behind my page, or I could add a flip flap with another photo and more story. There's several things that I could do, or I could just do another page with some more of my photos. I do have a few more, but I feel like this is a good representation of this Halloween. So I might just add more of the story as like a tag that can be pulled out. That's usually my problem. I need to type my journaling more so that I can fit more in smaller areas, but I usually like including my handwriting somewhere on my pages. Here's a close-up look at that stamping. I'm really happy with how that turned out. And then all my little stars that I added. I think this might become like a go-to design. I really like how many photos I was able to add, and still enough room to like have some fun. Do a little bit of playing. Crumbs from my eraser on there. I usually draw pencil lines and then I erase them afterwards. So I just talked about how we picked her costume and how trick-or-treating went. She got scared a couple of times, but she's a trooper and she kept right on going. If you'd like to see some more layouts, you can click on this playlist here. And if you're interested in joining the Creative Design Team membership, you can click the link down in my description. It's open right now for registration until November 20th. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.